Welcome back, everyone. It's Stray Faye here with a bonus episode to Kitty Love Ways to Look for Love, Narumi Saijo route. So we once again replayed all 8 chapters, picking all the wrong choices, so we can get the normal ending of the game and see how that differs from the happy ending. I don't know if it's gonna be that dramatic. I mean, the happy end. The happy end kind of like sort of made me laugh, sort of made me mad. Just because we pretty much we just got a cat. But yeah, let's see how this one is. See how it makes us feel. I know the Saijo route does have like a lot of dramatic music. Alright, normal end. After Mr. Saijo left his house, the house felt even more deserted. It's not dirty or unorganized, but just lifeless. I couldn't stand to be there any longer, so I quickly left the place. Mr. Saijo may never return here. I walk aimlessly and find a diner. Rice, miso soup, and grilled fish. Oh, that's all of Mr. Saijo's favorite things. I wanted such a simple meal, so I gravitated into the diner. Oh. Ooh, we've never seen this place before. It actually kind of looks like... It looks very much like the ramen place that like we used to always go to, like Small Island. Just like very simple tables. Although that place isn't this big. Now I want ramen. Hello. It's not quite lunchtime yet, and there are quite a few open tables. I take a seat at a table for 2. Are you ready to order? The grilled fish meal. Got it. Please wait a while. Oh, if you remember seeing like the character information about the boys, like grilled fish was Mr. Saijo's favorite food. I'm surprised it didn't come up in like the main story. I sway the cup of water. Watching the waves in the cup made everything seem like a long dream. Mr. Saijo, where are you? What am I supposed to do? The curse is still on me. If I'm unable to undo the curse, I imagine myself living as a cat, ridden of everything I had gained in life. Maybe this disgust is only temporary, and life as a cat might become ordinary for me. If that's the case, maybe I could be with Mr. Saijo forever. Are we gonna become cats in this ending? Here you go, the grilled fish meal. I don't know why I give the waitress this voice, but I'm hoping she doesn't have that many more lines. Oh, thank you. The meal was placed in front of me, like simple and delicious. I put my hands together and pick up the chopsticks. It looks so good. It's fitting of me that I still feel hungry in such a hopeless situation. Come to think of it, I ate normally. Even on the first day I turned into a cat. I take a sip of the miso soup. The flavor of manila clams spreads through my mouth. So good. I don't know, I can't say I like clam too much. But I want the miso soup and food Mr. Saijo prepared for me. He said he wouldn't be able to forgive himself. I wonder since when did he start suffering with such a sense of guilt? With such thoughts in my mind, the meal I ate felt tasteless. I couldn't make myself go home, so I sat on the usual park bench. The setting sun shines on the park. What am I supposed to do now? I'm literally hopeless and cannot think of anything. I can't imagine neither a bright future nor a dark future. My mood fell together with the falling sun. I hadn't really cared since the time wasn't exactly set specifically. As Mr. Saijo said, I realized my time as a cat had been getting longer. Maybe I'll really become a cat soon. The number of people in the park slowly start to decrease. Everyone has a place to go home. Oh, hi, surprise. Where do you want to go home to? I look up at the sudden voice, and there Mr. Saijo is, standing in a place that used to be empty. Mr. Saijo? I had so much to ask, so much to say, but nothing came out. I stare at Mr. Saijo silently. Sorry. You were terrible to just leave me like that. Yeah. Mr. Saijo walks in front of me, yet he doesn't look at my eyes. Mr. Saijo? As if preparing himself for something, Mr. Saijo looks straight into my eyes. I can see how the colors of his eyes are different from each other more than before. His wavering deep purple eye. It started out as curiosity. I've been moving from place to place, and once I decided to settle here, I saw you working in that flower shop. You seemed to be trying hard and you were cheerful, but it bothered me that you sometimes seemed empty-hearted. So I took the form of a flower arrangement artist, so I could be a regular customer. I occasionally went to take a look at you, only as one of the many customers. To take a look at me? I knew you were complaining to the cats in the park, and how you felt somehow unsatisfied. I wanted to know what would happen if I really turned you into a cat. Out of curiosity? Mr. Saijo nods at my words. But the curse will disappear if you kiss someone you truly love. You seem close to a lot of men, so I thought you'd be able to undo the curse easily. But you never seemed to undo it, and you kept coming to my house. Because it's only Mr. Saijo for me. You too. You took care of me every time. Yes, I had to undo the curse fast. I knew the curse would only get stronger as you started to accept being a cat, but I didn't want you to leave me. And somewhere in my heart, I wanted you to stay beside me. But during this serious situation, you regained your passion for your job, and I realized how strong of a girl you are. That's because I met you, Mr. Saijo. If I hadn't turned to a cat, if I hadn't met Mr. Saijo, the current me wouldn't exist for sure. As I've always been, I've been irritated by how I can't do better. And I'd be tired of my weary body and complain to the cats about my boring days. It was my first time since I was that man's pet that I wanted to do something to someone. Like take revenge towards someone I hated. I wanted to celebrate you enjoying your life as a human, but I also felt relieved to see you, as a cat, come to my place at night. And I got lost. Me too. I'm the same as you. I started turning into a cat and realized the importance of spending time as a human. I changed my perspective and my job wasn't boring at all. Same with flowers. I wanted to feel serious about how I viewed them, not just as cute and pretty. Mr. Saijo taught me to. Me? Yes. You said you wanted to arrange them beautifully because cut flowers are already on their way to their end. Humans cut flowers for our own good, but that's why I felt like it's my job to deliver the flowers as beautifully as I can to the people who are in need. But even if I thought that, I'd be spoiled by Mr. Saijo at night. And when I spend time like that, I would think that's enough, that I'd be happy to be a cat after all. Mr. Saijo said to question myself for the truth, but that was really hard. I look up at Mr. Saijo again. The already orange sunlight painted Mr. Saijo's cheeks. I had disliked Mr. Saijo under the moonlight for being so fragile and beautiful. But now, I wanted to see him like that. But if the moon comes out, I'd become a cat. So I wanted to talk now. Things were really hard, but I learned so many things by turning into a cat. One thing is for sure, I'm truly glad I became a cat. So please don't blame yourself like that. You still think that in this situation? Yes. Mr. Saijo, you gave me so much more than all of the hardships I went through. No. No, it's like a marriage proposal. Get on your knees. Mr. Saijo crouched down in front of the bench and took my hands in his hands. Mr. Saijo's hands are so warm. I can't believe he's a Nakamata and not a human. There's not much left I can do for you. Mr. Saijo looks nonchalant as usual, but seems to be in pain for some reason. What do you mean? I'll grant you a wish. My wish? Choose. Where do you want to go home to? My place to go home. My life. Everything up until now runs through my head with great speed. Then, as if guided by something, I open my mouth. I want to go back to the life I had before everything. Mr. Saijo quietly gazed at my face. Then I'll take you back to the world where I didn't exist. Mr. Saijo lets go of my hand and puts his on my shoulder. He puts force into his hands and silently comes closer to me. Our lips touch lightly. I close my eyes and at the sudden streak of light, so strong that the whiteness lingers under my eyelids. All sound fades away. I can't tell how much time has passed, but I feel the darkness returning. I slowly open my eyes. It had been orange from sunset just a while ago, but the park was engulfed in the night now. I thought it was only for a moment, but that I had my eyes closed, but I guess a decent amount of time had actually passed. Mr. Saijo? I noticed Mr. Saijo had disappeared in front of me and flustered up. Mr. Saijo? Then I realized it's already deep in the night, but I'm still a human. There's not a hint of transformation happening. Am I back? Has the curse been broken? A kiss with someone I truly like. That was the key to the curse. Someone I truly like. I thought in order to undo the curse, it had to be a mutual feeling. Does that mean if that kiss was the key? Mr. Saijo! Then I couldn't understand why Mr. Saijo wasn't here in front of me. You're all back to normal. A voice suddenly echoes. I stand up and look around, but I don't see anyone. Mr. Saijo, where? Is it the cat one or the human one? I had been thinking since I noticed your feelings that I'm not human, so I can't be with you. I think it's actually the cat Saijo talking. But I don't mind that. I hated human women. I'm gonna change his voice. I hated human women. I thought you'd be greedy and loveless like that woman. But You healed me from my deep, deep hatred. You're important to me. So please, live happily as a human with another human. But I can't see him, so I burst through the air. I squeeze my hand in a frenzy. What do I do? He's going to leave. It's alright. I'm sure you'll find happiness. Mr. Saijo! Thank you for forgiving me. In that moment, a wind blew and stroked my hair. The scent of his flows through it. No! Don't go! Mr. Saijo! Mr. Saijo! I lose all power and sink down into the bench. I look down at my normal human hands and realize clearly that my normal life has come back. Is this like a real bad ending? Am I alone? Hello? Oh. Some things are starting to click now. And some other endings that we did. There's some like regular shoppers, but was it in Takuma's ending? There was a shopper that had like pretty insightful things to say, but like the shopper didn't really have a portrait, so like, but it was like towards the end of like that path, like maybe those shoppers were actually Mr. Saijo, but we just like forgot about him. So I'm gonna assume this shopper is actually Mr. Saijo, but we just like probably forgot about him. Excuse me, do you have any hydrangea? Hydrangeas, yes. We do have them. Wow, there's so many different colors. Yes, they're pretty, right? Every time I see hydrangea, I'm reminded of Mr. Saijo. The promise to go see them together was never fulfilled. Okay, she does still remember him. I went to a wedding the other day, and the bridal bouquet was made of hydrangea. It was beautiful. Bridal bouquet. Oh, so would you like a bouquet similar to that style? What? You can do that? Of course. Which color theme would you like? Pink or blue? Or blue or pink? It's blue, please. Alright. It looks refreshing when put together with white flowers. What do you think? Wow, that's so nice. My life had returned. The life I wished for. The life I wanted. Only Mr. Saijo wasn't here. The next day, I tried mentioning Mr. Saijo to Takuma, but it took him a long time to remember him. After only a few days, everyone in town, including Takuma, had forgotten about Mr. Saijo. Except for me. Okay, so maybe that shopper isn't Mr. Saijo, or else we'd recognize him, right? Unless you can transform into other humans. This is confusing. Perhaps the spirit power is fading, but because I know the truth about Mr. Saijo, my memory doesn't fade at all. But if no one around me knows of him, and I mention him less and less, am I going to gradually forget about him as well? Thank you for the beautiful bouquet. We always have different kinds of seasonal flowers, so please come see us again. Thank you very much. You've grown so much. Sorry, taking a sip. What? It really looked like a bridal bouquet. I'd been kind of wanting to make a bouquet like it. The hydrangea Mr. Saijo liked. When we stock a pretty colored one, I wanted to arrange and show it to him. Girls would love those kind of bouquets. So would you make two big and small ones as samples to place in the storefront? Sure! I'm trying my best to step up every day at work, setting goals for myself. I want to be a florist who can deal with anyone, anywhere. Someone who connects flowers with people. Excuse me? I cautiously open the gate and step in. After Mr. Saijo disappeared, this house was left deserted. I started to visit occasionally after work. I collected the primrose at the windowsill, the only thing Mr. Saijo left, and I still take care of it in my room. I sit down on a stone in the moonlit garden. The only thing I hear are the sounds of bugs in the empty garden. You said I'm important to you forever, so you're still watching over me, right? He might be taking the form of another human. Oh, okay, so he might actually be a shopper. After that night, I started to pay more attention to the people I meet. I might be overthinking, but there is a possibility. Honoka, you had the exact same idea as I did, so I think he is disguising himself as other shoppers. I want to see you again. That can't be. I hurry towards the direction of the sound. Mr. Saijo? Oh, it's the calico cat. Meow. I looked through the grass to find the same calico cat that scratched me in the forehead. On the first day, I turned into a cat. Oh, it's you. Is this your territory as well? Meow. This must have only been one of his walking routines. He glanced at me once and slowly walked away through the gap between the fence and the ground. I'll see him again one day. If I continue in this way, it'll become eternity. They're my own words, but I wanted to believe in them. Feelings don't disappear that easily. I think strongly under the moonlight. That's it? That's Mr. Saijo's normal ending? That's a bad ending. That's the lonely girl ending. Oh no. At least in we did Kohei, we did Takuma. At least in those endings, there were strong hints that like you wanted to deepen the relationship. I like the normal ending for Kohei because I felt like you guys were together, but we're just taking it slow and building up the relationship. But this is am I ever gonna see Mr. Saijo again? Probably not. Seems like he wants to be gone forever, so we'll eventually fall in love with a human instead of a cat. Aw, that's kind of sad. They're just gonna spend their entire lives just thinking of each other. And eventually Honoka will just get old and die, and then Mr. Saijo will have to spend the rest of his eternity thinking of what could have been. That's sad. Oh no. Well, I'm also glad that I did not save Saijo for last, because both those endings left a bad taste in my mouth. In different ways. Alright, well. Okay, we still have 2 more boys to go. So, I'm gonna do Shogo next. Shogo seems to pop up in all the other paths that we've done. Even minorly. But he's there's always a scenario with Shogo in it, so that'd be kinda nice to see how he is. He's probably very sweet burly policeman. Anywho. That'll have to wait for next time. I hope you guys had I don't know. Okay. I guess tell me what you guys think of this ending and so far, which is your favorite? Still like Takuma the best. Takuma's happy end is really good. So yeah. Which one's your favorite so far? And yeah, I'll see you next time. Oh, bye-bye.